What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another Overwatch League discussion video. With the season being well underway, I think now is a really good time to do a few progress reports for you in the upcoming days. Today's video is going to feature who I believe is the current frontrunner for a variety of awards that I plan to hand out at the end of the season. The awards we'll be going over in this video include MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, Most Improved Team, Most Surprising Team, and Most Surprising Player. Keep in mind that the Surprising Team and Player awards could be for a positive or negative reason depending on how impactful I think said reason is. The credentials I plan to use for these awards will be based off things like statistics, in-game performance, achievements, records, and a few other things. And of course, try to remember that none of what I say is a universal fact, so it's perfectly fine if you disagree. Honestly, it would be boring if we all thought the same way, and that's why I encourage you guys to tell me who you have as the frontrunners for these awards as well, so we can continue the discussion down in the comments section. With intros aside, let's begin with the MVP. For this award, there's a few different options to choose from. A lot of players have been having great individual seasons that have helped carry their team to the top, but the one guy that stands out more than any of the others for me personally is Carpe. What he has done so far in Season 3 is truly special. He came into 2020 with a chip on his shoulder after some people were convinced he was washed for having a less than spectacular 2019 campaign. Between the critics and not being able to play DPS for nearly the entire season, Carpe said he had enough basically. Right out of the gate, he's been lighting it up. He can't be stopped. It's like the old Carpe never left. Game after game after game, he is dominating the opposition. He's making it look easy on his signature Widow, McCree, and Tracer. When he's in the game, he keeps going non-stop. He's dishing out punishment with a vengeance right now. Every game feels like it's in his control. With Carpe in the game, the Fusion win about 60% of their team fights. But, I mean, what else would you expect from somebody who is pretty much getting kills every single fight? He leads all players in final blows by a pretty good margin, and he's second in damage and eliminations. Whether he's the one doing all the damage or just cleaning it up, Carpe is always there to put his team in a better position to win. Not to mention that Carpe can do all of this in the clutch. Because of his efforts, his team now sits comfortably at the top of the standings. This Fusion team may be really strong all around, but it's hard to imagine they get to where they are right now without Carpe. He's having quite the historic season. He's without a shadow of a doubt deserving to be in the consideration for this award at the very least. I personally think he's the frontrunner though. In case you were wondering, however, a few other people I have in the running are Decay, Fleta, Void, Rascal, and Choyobin, as all of them have been having spectacular seasons as well. Now let's move on to Rookie of the Year. This rookie class has been outstanding, and many of them have had a profound impact on their team. Guys like Lee Jae-gon, Lip, Exy, Fielder, and Yaki have been looking fantastic, but if you watched my top 10 rookie video last week, you would have already known that my current leader for this award is Alarm. He's been undeniably great, and if you think otherwise, you're lying to yourself. It really depends on who you're talking to obviously, but some people will argue that he is the #1 flex support in the Overwatch League. Forget rookies, this guy's one of the best period. I had confidence that Alarm would be a solid player at the Overwatch League level. Being top 5 at his position seemed like a pretty reasonable achievement, but he has literally shattered that expectation into a million pieces. Oftentimes, we look at Carpe or even Sato for that redemption tour he's on when thinking about storylines associated with the Fusion, but try to remember that not much of what they've accomplished would be possible without the efforts of Alarm. How many times has he opened everything up for his teammates through a well-timed sleep dart, Bionade, or Discord Orb, and he's not afraid to do the dirty work himself. If you look at his combined stats on Moira, Zenyatta, Baptiste, and Ana, he is consistently in the upper half of the league for all damage stats across the board. It's worth bringing up the intelligence factor as well. When looking at those same combined statistics once again, you'll discover that he only dies about 4 times per 10 minutes, and needless to say, that is one of the lower rates in all of the league. And don't forget that he is currently the leader in total healing with a whopping 825k. So not only is he setting up the plays, but he's consistently keeping his team up as well. Watching this season from the viewpoint of this young phenom has been a work of art. So long as he keeps this level of play up, that award is his for the taking in my book. Next, we'll talk about the most improved player. This one is a bit more difficult than you might think. I had a hard time choosing who's the front runner right now. Somebody like Sato or Fearless fits the description quite well, but there's some sleeper picks you could choose from too. Guys like Jexay, Nico, No, and Decay, they're all very much worthy of this level of praise. All of the players I considered have made great strides compared to what they achieved the previous season we saw them play. But as of right now, my current leader by a slight margin is Fearless. Now, to be fair, the initial judgments he received when he was in the league by a bunch of people were pretty unfair. Because he was part of an 0-40 team, nobody really cared about him. He was casted aside by most, even if he wasn't that bad when he played. Now here he is, 2 years later, and he's back in the league. He worked his butt off in contenders to get here, and it has 100% paid off. He's the one everybody is talking about. Fearless is having a fantastic season. With how great he's been, some people are even considering him to be the best Winston player we have. Others will take it a step further and say he is the #1 main tank in the league. And honestly, both of those arguments are fair and valid. Looking at the second argument in particular, Fearless has been putting in the work. He is more than holding his own against some really good main tank players, including the likes of Mono, who some consider to be the best main tank we've ever had in the league's history. If you're playing at this kind of level, it goes without question that you are one of the best right now. Fearless has come a long way, from being part of that 0-40 disaster to one of the strongest main tank players on the planet. It's the ultimate redemption story. As of right now, that storyline is too good to pass up on. That level of improvement deserves to be praised. The turnaround of his career is one of the most amazing I've ever seen. Fearless is a beast, and more importantly, he's a winner now. God bless him for staying mentally strong through all of the stuff he's gone through these last couple of years. Moving on to the most improved team, I feel like there's only one correct choice for this. Going with anybody other than the Florida Mayhem just wouldn't feel right to me. I'm sure you can make an argument for like the Fusion or Dragons for taking major strides compared to last year, but it's hard to beat how far Florida has come. From league bottom feeders to a potential playoff contender. From 20th place in 2019 to 5th in the present day. That's what I call drastic improvement. In their first 2 years as a franchise, they won a total of 13 games. This year alone, they have already won 9, and we're only at the halfway mark of Season 3. And the way they went about achieving this level of improvement is awesome. They kept the pieces they were working with in Season 2 and added onto the core with some young and talented players from Korean contenders. Not to mention that Kuki is made for a great coach. And most importantly, they got bare hands out of there, which has made a night and day difference with management. While it's not saying much given their history, the Mayhem are better than they've ever been before. This team is getting more and more confident, and they're starting to realize their true potential. Their success in the month of May is eye-opening, and capping it off with a North American May Melee Grand Finals appearance shows you just how much they've grown recently. So long as they keep this up and they don't choke, they'll bring home this award for sure. Next up on the list of awards we're addressing is the most surprising team. For this one, I had a hard time deciding between 3 teams. 2 are for negative reasons, and 1 is positive. My negatives are the Atlanta Reign for failing to live up to the hype, and the Vancouver Titans for completely collapsing. The positive team I have under consideration is the Los Angeles Valiant, who have played a lot better than I thought they would this year. As of this recording though, I give the slight edge to the Vancouver Titans. What happened to them this year can only be described as tragic and disappointing. Imagine going from the #1 team in the overall standings in 2019 to a league bottom feeder. This franchise was literally in the grand finals like 9 months ago. Now look at them. They're essentially a brand new expansion team yet again, but this time they have to find their way around. To this day, I still don't understand how management screwed up this badly. They had it all, and they threw it away. Their amazing team wanted to be freed from their shackles. I am shocked that such a bad collapse happened in the middle of a season. It's such a rare occurrence to see a team disband at the highest level of pro sports when the season is still young. If a championship caliber team suddenly breaks up, it's usually during the offseason. This is one of the craziest and most abrupt collapses I have ever seen. From grand finals level to bottom 3 at best. How did it get this bad? Some will say they saw this coming since the rumors of management dissatisfaction range all the way back to 2019, but up until a week or 2 before it happened, everything seemed okay out in Vancouver land. The team started the season off on the right foot and appeared to still be a contender, but then it all derailed very quickly once the team traveled to South Korea, so I for one find it extremely surprising. And last, but certainly not least, we have the most surprising player. For this one, I nearly went with Sinatra or Corey just because it's kind of unbelievable that the reigning MVP of the league and one of the best hits game players we had suddenly left us for a different game, but I figured that wouldn't be fair since those two technically aren't players anymore. So then I weighed my options between guys like Ben Best, Sato, Nico, Decay, No, and many more. The player I feel is out in front currently though is BQB. In Season 2, he was incredibly mediocre. He couldn't play a good Zarya, and he couldn't even help out in Sombra Goats, even though that was his signature hero when he played in Korean Contenders. That was very concerning to me. The fact that he genuinely did not look good on the one hero people seriously praised him for. When the Mayhem started to play better in Stage 4, however, he looked like a B-tier DPS. He was a solid second option. That's all I really saw from him though heading into Season 3. I expected him to come off the bench while Sayaplayer and Yaki formed a power duo, but right from day one, I was wrong. BQB was the starter and things have remained that way, and now that Sayaplayer is inactive for the time being, that's not going to change anytime soon. But even when he does eventually come back, there's no guarantee that Sayaplayer will get playtime. BQB has done so well. He's gone from a B-tier DPS, or like a second or third best option on a team, to one of the better hit-scan players in the Overwatch League. It truly is quite the incredible transformation. I never would have guessed that BQB could elevate his play this much given the right coaching and teammates. He's been a pleasant surprise who this Mayhem team has depended on time and time again to bail them out of dire situations. I'm loving the effort out of BQB. He truly has surprised me, and for all the right reasons. Well, there you go. Those are my frontrunners for all of the awards I intend to hand out at the end of the season. Who would you have win these awards? Be sure to tell me in the comment section. If you enjoyed the discussion, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Don't forget that you can also follow me on Twitter at ATP Overwatch, join the community Discord through the link in the description, and become a channel member if you wish to further support me. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.